You will never be able to buy even one Bitcoin. So how long will it take to buy a Bitcoin? Well, we're looking at 60K a year after tax, which is 5,000 monthly earnings. Now, monthly income and fixed expense. Let's look at it now. $60,000 breaks down to 5,000 a month. Fixed payments include mortgage or rent payments, groceries, fuel, car insurance, car registration, car services and repairs, phone bill, takeaway, Netflix, Spotify, clothes, and all those extra accessories you get from Amazon. Now, monthly expenses, we're looking at 3,932 total. Mortgage payments is where majority of your money is going to go, which is roughly 600 bucks a week, 2,400. Groceries, $600. Fuel, 300. Car insurance, I've done $100, which is about $1,200 annual. Car registration, $62.50, which is about $750 annual, which is pretty standard. Car service, $83 monthly, about $1,000 a year. Netflix, $19 a month. Spotify, $12 a month. I've done takeaway, about 125 bucks a month. And clothing, $200 and random purchases. So monthly savings, we're looking at, so you've earned $5,000 in earnings, but then expenses, which is your fixed expenses, 3,932, and now you've saved 1,068 at the end of the month. Now you're looking at monthly, you're saving 1,068, you times that by 12 months, you're looking at 12,816 in 1 year of savings. But I didn't even include things if you have a pet, if you have a baby, if you have more streaming services than one, you might have Stan, Amazon Prime, Disney. And what if you need to buy something new, like a new couch, new phone, tires for your car? What if you need tools for your house, a mower, pressure washer, tools for your shed? Whatever it may be, things come up that eat into that savings account. What about extra house bills? So I didn't even mention property tax, electricity bills, water bill, gas, all those things I haven't even included in your fixed expenses. I've chucked that in your savings and you're going to eat that up. And so I didn't even mention travel. What if you want to go on a big trip at the end of the year? Those things are outside of your fixed expenses, and these are going to chew into your savings. So, what if you need camping equipment, a caravan, camper van, or what if you're just going to go fly? So, plane tickets, accommodation, activities. These things are all very expensive. How much money will you really have to invest in Bitcoin? So, let's say that all the money that you saved, you want to invest in Bitcoin as your savings account. So, we're looking at 12,816. And I'm going to say with the trip planned or money needed for all of life's extras, you're looking close to half of that. So 50%, $6,408. Maybe you're very good with your money. You put off that trip, you save the money instead of spending on the car, whatever it may be. And maybe you've only spent 25% of your annual savings, and that will leave you with 9,612. Now, Bitcoin is priced at $116. That's the Aussie dollar per Bitcoin. And I'm assuming, let's say the Bitcoin stays that price hypothetically, which is obviously not going to happen. It would take, so 9,612 savings in Bitcoin per year. So you are the better saver. It will take 12 years to buy one Bitcoin. It's about 145 months. Now, if you have used half of those savings, and some people even chew more than that, we've got at 6,408 savings Bitcoin per year, it will take 18 years to buy one Bitcoin, which is about 217 months. Yes, harsh reality. Now, Bitcoin will continue to go up forever on the long term. Obviously, there's going to be some spikes down, but there's also, over a long, broad scale, Bitcoin will just continue to go up forever. It's the number one performing asset. We have 12 or 18 years, already seems way too long to buy one. But what if Bitcoin continues to grow 40 to 60% annually, which we've seen in the past? How will the average person ever buy even just one Bitcoin? Now imagine it just stays 10% annual, so matching the stock market. One Bitcoin is still so unattainable. Now, Bitcoin was also once cheap, 450 Aussie dollars in 2014. Shocker. But there is hope. This has been some depressing news, but there's hope. You don't need one Bitcoin to save your purchasing power in Bitcoin, which is preserving your time and energy into the future. You can also increase the amount of savings by reducing fixed costs, share housing with other mates or something, bringing down the cost of rent, or living with your parents. So, putting off buying a house young. you put all these savings in Bitcoin and you get more and go against what this is proposing. Maybe you don't have a mortgage, and that will allow you to get more and more Bitcoin. And maybe you can actually buy a house using a significant amount of that Bitcoin in the future. Maybe you go on cheaper holidays somewhere a bit more local instead of flying out and spending lots of money on accommodation. Now, eating at home, so reducing takeaway cost, all those extra dinners you're going out, maybe you knock that back to only once every fortnight or maybe once a week instead of going every few days. Then we've got duo or family plans for Spotify and Netflix, things like that. You might be able to save cost in those little areas, and that will give you extra Bitcoin savings. Or things that are obvious, like putting off buying expensive cars or getting loans for cars and actually buying something that's more affordable for you gets you A to B. Features of Bitcoin. So things that can help. Bitcoin is divisible. So there are 100 million sats, which is equal to Satoshis per Bitcoin. This allows Bitcoin to be divisible by 100 million. Therefore, you can buy a percentage of Bitcoin rather than attempting to buy a whole Bitcoin. Any percentage growth or decline of Bitcoin will impact the Sats dollar value, and therefore you can still grow your portfolio significantly over time. Bitcoin is volatile, but I consider that a feature. Bitcoin can drop below 116 per coin and create opportunity in the market. Historically, Bitcoin can drop 80% from the top of its bull market. For example, if Bitcoin reaches $300,000 this bull run at the top of its cycle, a historic drop of 80% puts Bitcoin bottoming at $60,000, which is nearly half of its current value, allowing a buying opportunity at a significantly lower price, which means you can average out your buy price of Bitcoin in dollar cost average strategy, DCA. Now, raising capital to buy Bitcoin. You need to find more ways to generate Bitcoin and sats, making your own business that can be paid in Bitcoin and sats, joining Bitcoin reward systems like Nostra related apps that can zap sats on social media rather than just likes. So you can sign up to Primal, Deimos, any of these other apps, and it's kind of like Twitter, but you can send sats instead of likes to people. And if they appreciate your post or your comments or whatever, they can send Bitcoin straight away to your Lightning wallet. Now we've got raising fiat, which is the Aussie dollar, the US dollar, in order to buy more Bitcoin. Maybe you create a side hustle or push for a better paying job or promotion. Make yourself valuable in a workplace to earn your raise. Now, the last one, which a bit of a gray area, but I've got a high risk approach. And so this is raising capital through other investments outside of Bitcoin that could outperform Bitcoin in the short term. We know that Bitcoin's going to be the number one performing asset in the long term, as it has since 2009. But we're looking at something in the short term. I'm talking 12 months, 24 months that will outperform, and you'll be able to pour that capital in profit into Bitcoin for the long term storage. So we look at MicroStrategy by Michael Saylor. His stock is now backed completely by Bitcoin as a treasury. And so his stock has done 10x in 4 years, which has outperformed Bitcoin. There's other Bitcoin backed businesses such as Metaplanet that you could do a similar thing with. So you can invest in them in the short term, make you good money in it in a short time, or all those gains into Bitcoin for the long term. Now, this is the one that I didn't want to talk about, but I feel like I should, considering the recent market pump that's going on. You could buy altcoins, which is like, ADA, Ripple, Solana. These are all blue chip altcoins that are going to be sticking around. They can trade, 200% in a few weeks or few months, but they can also trade significantly down. So it's a bit more of your casino coins, gambling coins. And then that goes into the whole meme coins, Dogecoin, Shiba, Dog to the Moon, Bretcoin, anything. Now, these are extremely risky. They can drop huge percentages, but they can also go buck wild. And so you might be able to make money in the short term in the next year or two and pour those altcoin profits into Bitcoin for the long-term storage. This is something that I've been doing over time, liquidating my altcoin gains, liquidating, sometimes it's been at a loss, but I've just been pouring into Bitcoin for the long term. Yeah, Now, let's talk a bit more about the DCA strategy, which as I mentioned before. So the DCA strategy is putting the same amount of money in Bitcoin weekly, fortnightly, or monthly. So it averages out your price that you bought Bitcoin rather than purchasing it all in a one lump sum. Although a lump sum could trade significantly up in in the short term, it can also trade significantly down. So DCA eliminates that risk. It's good for long-term investing as it stretches out your portfolio's lifespan, buying in the lows and bottom of the market, but also on the climb up to all-time highs. Whenever Bitcoin trades down, it doesn't impact your portfolio significantly because you've averaged out your buy price in a much lower at a much lower price than that of the all-time high. Your goal is simply buy as much Bitcoin as possible on a regular basis. You don't have to try and time the market or worry about the current price. It seems boring in the now, but can substantially grow your portfolio in Bitcoin, Sats, and dollar value. You can still bend the rules here and there when Bitcoin drops significantly and you have spare capital on the side to lump sum in to bring down your average buy price. So it could drop significantly and you've got a spare $1,000, $5,000, whatever. Maybe you've just sold something on eBay, Marketplace, whatever, and you want to just go boom straight into Bitcoin as it drops. Now that's also a good strategy. However, there is a risk of Bitcoin trading down further. Now, I'll leave you with stack sats, and it is never too late. People thought it was too late when Bitcoin went from $100 to $1,000, then 1,000 to 10,000, and now 10,000 to 100,000. So don't regret it when Bitcoin trades from 100,000 to 1 million. $1 million a coin is something that I believe will happen. Whether that's 5 years, 10 years, doesn't matter. This thing's going to the moon. So yep, stack sats, and it's never too late. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is something different, and let me know if you appreciate this type of content. Cheers.